All right, so let's get you some updates from Myanmar. The world is, of course, watching the developments very, very closely. And US President Joe Biden has called on Myanmar's military to relinquish power immediately. Now, Joe Biden has also ordered for a review to consider reimposing sanctions that had been lifted during Myanmar's transition to democracy.
I think that's why that was called out in the president's comments. As you know, we removed sanctions, the United States, I should say, removed sanctions on Burma over the past decade based on progress toward democracy. The reversal of that progress will necessitate an immediate review of our sanctions laws and authorities, followed by appropriate action. So that's why he called it out.
Now, the Norwegian Nobel Committee has also reacted to Aung San Suu Kyi's arrest. The committee has said that it is appalled by the arrest of Myanmar's leader Aung San Suu Kyi, who had won the Nobel Peace Prize way back in 1991. Now, Germany has also reacted to the military coup in Myanmar. The country has condemned the military action in Myanmar and has called on the military to recognize the parliamentary election results. The European Union has also condemned the military coup, calling for the restoration of the civilian government. The British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has also condemned the coup in Myanmar after the military in the Asian nation seized power. Boris Johnson has called for the Myanmar junta to actually free Aung San Suu Kyi and other civilian leaders. The United Kingdom has also summoned the Myanmarese ambassador in London to register its objections to this military coup. Now, the Japanese Chief Cabinet Secretary Katsunobu Kato has said that he is extremely concerned with the developments in Myanmar and that the parties involved in Myanmar should resolve the issue peacefully through dialogue in accordance with the democratic process. The Japanese government is also preparing for all possible measures to ensure the safety of the Japanese residents in the country.
我が国は民主的プロセスにのっとり、当事者が対話を通じて平和に問題を解決することが重要と考えており、これまでも関係者に対してその旨働きかけたところであります。状況いかんにかかわらず現地法人の安全確保には万全を期す考えでありますが、現時点で現地大使館から在留邦人に対して本件につきメールで周知し注意喚起を行ったところであります。
Now, the Indian Ministry of External Affairs has also issued a statement on the developments in Myanmar. The statement from the MEA reads, and I quote, India has always been pretty steadfast in its support to the process of democratic transition in Myanmar. We believe that the rule of law and the democratic process should be upheld. We are monitoring the situation very closely. That is all that the MEA in India has said. Meanwhile, the Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison has also said that the reports of Myanmar's military seizing power are extremely disturbing.
Well, these are rather disturbing developments. I'm aware of those troubling reports, and the Foreign Minister has been following them very closely, and you've already issued a statement on this matter as I understand it. The details, I've got to say, are very limited because of communications that were reportedly cut. And it's still relatively early in Myanmar. We've been a long-standing supporter of Myanmar's democratic transition, including the election in November. In fact, I was the first minister of our government, first elected in 2013, to visit Myanmar when I was the then Minister for Immigration.
And also, the United Nations Security Council will be holding an emergency meeting on the current situation in Myanmar following the military coup. The United Nations head has strongly condemned the military detention of the Myanmarese leaders, including the controversial leader Aung San Suu Kyi. Now, in a statement, the Secretary General has strongly condemned the detention of the state councillor Aung San Suu Kyi, President U Win Myint, and also other political leaders. These developments represent a pretty serious blow to the democratic reforms in Myanmar. The Secretary General has reaffirmed the unwavering support of the United Nations to the their pursuit of democracy, peace, human rights and the rule of law. Now, the United Nations Special Envoy for Myanmar has also condemned a military coup as outrageous. He has added that democracy has been overturned in the country.
Well, it's just outrageous. It's deeply disturbing. We're still getting information from Myanmar, as you, I'm sure, know. The communication lines have been cut, so there's a lot that we we don't know. But what we do know is that democracy has been overturned by the generals. Many people are now in detention. The Constitution that the generals wrote and that they pledged just 48 hours ago to fully abide by has now been overturned. So it's nothing short of outrageous, deeply disturbing. And I think what's important is for the international community, first and foremost, to speak out very clearly, very unequivocally. This is unacceptable. The international community rejects what has happened, that leaders of the world are united in their revulsion of this illegal act. And that the international community is committed to working together to see that this does not stand. The people of Myanmar need to know, first and foremost, that the world is watching and that the world is with them. They are not forgotten, and they're not being forgotten.
So the military coup in Myanmar does not, of course, come as a surprise. This is tensions between the military and the civilian government, led by the controversial leader Aung San Suu Kyi, had been brewing for quite some time. It all started when Suu Kyi's party, the National League for Democracy, came to power in a landslide victory in the 2015 elections in October. Then in 2016, Myanmar's military began a major crackdown on the Rohingya Muslim minorities in the Rakhine province. Now, what is interesting is this: the Myanmarese army's actions in the Rakhine province against the Rohingyas was backed by Aung San Suu Kyi. Remember, Aung San Suu Kyi is a Nobel Peace Prize winner, but she also went on to defend the military genocide of the Rohingyas that was carried out by the military at the International Court of Justice in December 2019. In September 2020, the United Nations raised some serious concerns about the upcoming elections due to the disenfranchisement of the Rohingyas. In November 2020, the military warned Suu Kyi's civilian government ahead of the polls, alleging potential bias of voting. The Suu Kyi's party registered a resounding victory in polls which were held in the same month. However, the military-backed opposition party contested the poll results, alleging fraud. The military once again issued a warning against Suu Kyi's government. In January 2021, the country's election commission upheld Suu Kyi's victory by rejecting the army's claims that Suu Kyi had committed some serious fraud in these elections. However, that of course did not stop the military from staging a coup on the 1st of February 2021, deposing this leader, taking her into custody and declaring that the civilian government will no longer work and it will be the military establishment that will take charge of the nation. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.